Like a relapse for bad habits or doing bad actions. Acne leads a bitch to proactive. I'm a pro at this, and this is my world. My name's across the atlas. No, it doesn't correlate. Yes, it is irrelevant, but motherfucker, I make dollars. I don't need to make sense. I'm gripping the track like I'm squeezing on the great bitch. Flip the fucking beat around like I'm throwing ape shit. So okay, let's be honest. Fuck me and somebody. Bitches run around and catch a ring like they was Sonic. When we fuck, I say I love you. Trust me, it's platonic. So just enjoy the night, baby. Tomorrow is and promise, of course. You and me, I mean, fuck it. Time to change the sing my lyrics song. Whoa, like I fill my pen with creatine, bitch. I'm so high. Like the giant know that Jolly Green, so y'all prepare for the monster like the
Me, I'm a wordsmith like dude who married Jada. Yeah, you can't write, but you're not spitting it right. I'm about to handle your bars. It's like riding a bike. It's in a much like an armpit. Got them smells of me cooking food for thought. You can't get a plate of it. I spit like me had a mouth full of saliva and millets. And this be a freestyle. A rap go by MC hotter than this. Shot them boys scream loud. Bullets rush through the crowd. Turn them dreads to licorice. Old school, new school.
I'm waiting on the tag from people walking.
No Halloween, but them trips on treats. Them put your foot in the mouth and now them tasting defeat. Me not spitting like them regular folk. Me about to set the bar high now. I make them pull back.
Yeah, what's up with my peoples? Welcome to Men's Motivational Monday. Well, I'm King David.
I'm Mike the God.
And we got Damn Sam in the building.
Yes, Lord.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, share,
engage, comment.
You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Chris.
Chris is back.
Yeah, Chris, I'm glad
Chris
to see
is
you back
back
on your ones and twos, man. Warm it up, Chris.
Shout out to Trio.
Shout out, yeah, man. Worldwide collaboration. Shout out to Busy One. Shout out to Star Qualities. Shout out to Day to Day. Shout out to Women Wednesdays. Shout out to Men's Motivational Mondays. And with all that being said, man, it was one of them weeks again. You know what I mean? One of them weekends.
Should I say? Weekend?
Oh yeah, most definitely busy. If you ain't busy, you ain't doing nothing.
Always busy.
Motion up. Get your motion up. But you know.
Yeah, as it takes agony of defeat.
Yeah, we did last week.
Excuse me, can I say something? I don't have my marker or my cards to show y'all So I don't know where that's at. So you're gonna have to look at your phone.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. So again, goddamn it. Men's Motivational Monday. What we talking about, fellas?
Man, we got a hot topic today. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I got my question.
Okay.
Hey, we ask y'all to share, engage, because this one gonna be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Share it out to as many people as possible. Shout out to Kimberly Devine.
We see you out here. So with any further ado, what's up with Christina? With any further ado, let's go ahead and get this conversation rolling, man, because I'm eager. Is the topic up there yet for us?
Yeah, it's up there.
It's rolling around the bottom.
It's a loaded gun, too. You hear me?
How do men express themselves after being hurt by your significant other? Yeah. Period. When dealing with pain.
Let's just stick to what it is, brother.
Okay. I just want them to be clear on what we talking about, because people might screw our words up and don't know what they talking about. So if anybody new that's getting on, please read the bottom of the screen so you can engage in this conversation properly.
And this is a disclaimer that any of our personal opinions does not reflect on the integrity of the brand day to day.
You know what I'm talking about?
But we encourage everybody to engage on this topic right here, because it's actually can be a moment of truth, and it can be a learning experience for some of the men as well as the women. So let's get it. Let's get it today.
All right. So elaborate on it for a little bit, Mike.
When men get hurt by women, sometimes it's just hard for us to express that to a woman, because we always been groomed to, not show our emotions. Well, first of all, we're not even supposed to have emotions, men.
Why?
Because
we're human.
I know we're human, but that's the way we was taught. You know what I'm saying? Don't have no emotions. It's like, suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Or it seems like sometimes we always have to consider how we deliver our message when we're trying to express ourselves that we're in pain. And sometimes we just think that our significant others don't hear us.
Well, that's a lot of truth said in that, for sure. When it comes to, hurt people. So sometimes, conversations get heated back and forth, and then, ears start closing. People only hear the hurtful words, and they miss the message in the bottle. So, as for men, we get plagued with it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes trying to think of a political way to express your feelings always seem to water down what the fuck you feeling, because you worried about they feelings in the midst of your self-expression or in the midst of your pain.
Sound about right. From a man's perspective, because we want y'all to see it from our point of view.
Right. But to be fair, everybody has their own perspective when it comes to pain, and everybody reacts differently to pain. It's just, as far as we're concerned, like Mike has said, we don't get that opportunity sometimes because everybody wasn't conditioned that way. But certain parents, men, if they had a man in their life, they kind of, that was being feminine, was to be emotional. We equated emotions to femininity. And it didn't, and so it made us seem like we were less than men for having feelings. Because I can remember my father telling me when he was giving me whoopings, he'll give me something to cry about. You know, like I wasn't able to react or to acknowledge the pain I was experiencing, whether it was, you know, trauma from just the whole interaction or the actual feeling of the hits. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers say, well, you ain't allowed to be like, I'll give you something to cry about. Shut up. Shut that shit up. In the midst of busting your ass, make you shut that shit up.
You had to have that asthma cry like.
I had asthma, nigga came naturally. Nigga, you know what I mean? Nigga was sitting up and motherfucker got down with the nebulizer or whatever, you know, because I ain't having to handle it when I was little. We just sit your ass down and suck on this thing for a while. But yeah, so I understand exactly what you're saying when it's come to certain men wasn't conditioned to allow emotions to be even really discussed. Because until my mama died, my daddy really never told me he loved me for real. My mama died in 2007. He wasn't big on that love shit. Like I wasn't raised where love, the word love had a lot of weight. Love was action. And so when you get hurt by a loved one, a significant other, you know, we taught as men, somebody hurt you, you hurt them back.
Right.
If somebody punch you in your mouth, you don't punch them back. If somebody takes something from you, you take something back. If somebody do something, you just don't take that shit as a man, you do something back. But when it's your significant other, you got gloves on. You can't just cut their head off like you would do somebody else. You just can't like you would do somebody else. You got to be conscious of them in the midst of what you're going through. So as men, we have to really learn how to work on our delivery, I think, because I know I'm struggling with that at times. I get told all the time about delivery, and my counter is fuck the message.
But how can you work on your delivery
in the heat of the moment?
In the heat, like if you in pain, like if you know that woman didn't hurt you, and you know even with saying that, I'm still biting my tongue on saying when that woman that hurt your feelings, because that sounds soft. You feel me? But it's real though.
You know what I call them? Whole ass nigga moments.
See,
I say I'm human. I have whole ass nigga moments. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, but see, why I got to be that though?
I mean, but that's how I normalize it for myself. You know what I mean? Like talking about myself, like you know, like sometimes I get, you know, I never forget the name of this album. He's not the popularest rapper on the planet, but I'll never forget. He said, "Don't be safe." Trinidad James, goofiest nigga in the world, really wasn't the greatest rapper, whatever, but he had an image and he was memorable, right? But when I looked at SAFE was an acronym. Sensitive as fuck every day. Don't be sensitive as fuck every day as a man. Right. Because we can be sensitive. We can be in our feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us got a lot of female tendencies from upbringing and shit like that, and learning some coping mechanisms from the feminine energy that was around us. Because our masculine energy might not have been dominant in our households for one reason or another. So we can find ourselves being sensitive as fuck, overly sensitive. You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to roil that shit in and learn how to be like, all right, nigga, you tripping. Like some shit we gotta just kind of suck up as a man because it's just nature of it. But at the same time, we can't always be expected to have the best foot forward in the midst of pain. You know what I mean? Like why can't I allow to be fucked up while I'm hurting? Because I gotta worry about that. My fucked upness hurts you.
Right.
I'm hurt. It hurt people. I ain't mean to fuck you up. I ain't mean to ruffle your feathers, but you know I'm going through this with my father, this with my child, this with my job, this all these different pressures I got on my life. You understand all this shit. Right. And then certain shit happens, I might explode, or I might be short, or I might not give the loving energy to the motherfucker for like they deserve. Mm-hmm. And they don't realize that, you know, you ain't got it right that moment. And then does your significant other give you a chance to be human and not be at your best without fucking penalizing, without treating you like you less than a man because you did have a moment? You know what I mean? Like it seems like when we have our moments, we get held at a different standard. You know what I mean? Where
Mhm.
they can kind of, you know, monthly moments per se.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like,
So-
and that's acceptable. And
Right.
then when you factor in different variables that occur, all these things are acceptable, and we have to accept it.
All
But
right.
when we have our moments, it'd be like, nigga, suck that shit up. You tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your perspective on it?
I mean, my perspective is I know how to have time with myself. So if I don't have to reflect on what I'm going through in front of the woman all the time. You don't have to do that. You can just go to yourself and, you know what I mean, sit in your car, go for a ride or something, just think about everything that's been transpired right then and there. And if
One moment.
and if she ain't feeling what I was feeling, you know what I mean, I'm not gonna make her feel what I felt. She just gonna have to see it. And, you know what I mean? Some people move different, like, so my actions might speak louder than my words. You know what I mean? So I might go do something that's fucked up. You know
Hold
what I
on.
mean? But we got somebody trying to call us or something. Come on with it. But I would just I would keep it to myself. But I know that's what men do. We all often bottle up our feelings and our emotions and express it to other men. But when we're trying to let the woman know how we feel, like you said before, it goes back to it's not what we say, but how we say it. So even if you say it in a tone, you still gonna feel like you soft.
It never feels like it truly explains how you feel because you had to filter that shit. When the emotion you feel is unfiltered and raw, but you gotta be political and find words that are kind to your significant other's emotion.
Right,
you know
that part.
And that's what makes it difficult for some niggas. I got a few friends that struggle with communicating uncomfortable shit to their significant other. They'd rather think about doing relationship destructive ass shit versus trying to find the words to express, because they always go back and forth with me, because my friends, and I'll be feeling like I'm arguing for the woman. I'm like, well, say something to this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Say something to her. Fuck letting that shit go off, because maybe she can, because as long as she can sit back and say, well, you didn't say nothing, she got a point. You know what I mean? So as long as you, and that means to me, if you just let a motherfucker keep doing shit to you, and you like that shit, like, you gotta be able to find the words sometimes. Like, you know what? Like,
but if you say the wrong word,
but that's like what you said. You did the best thing, like getting by yourself and just trying to get the words, but not saying I ain't gonna revisit this subject.
No,
I'm not going by myself.
Can you talk, caller? Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So
I was waiting on you, waiting on him to get the
Go ahead, finish doing, saying what you said, Sam. So before we let the caller talk.
So one thing I would say is, you know, when we say something to a woman and we do speak our mind to her, and sometimes it might ruffle her feathers.
Yes.
And then it's just about what we said, but it's our feelings. And they'll get offensive.
So then we start. The conversation is about
their feelings
and not ours.
About how they interpret what we're saying, versus what the fuck we're really saying about how I'm in pain, how that hurt me, how I feel vulnerable, how I feel disrespected, how I feel taken advantage of, how I feel like you just squeezed my balls as my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You squeezed my balls, and if anybody ever got close to my balls, I would fucking chop their head off. But since you my wife, I got to sit there and be like, babe, do you realize what you're doing? Ouch. Hey, excuse me. And then if I ouch too loud, bitch, what you bitching up for? I done this before. It's like, just because I can accept some shit don't mean I should have to all the goddamn time. Like, why do I got to be Superman? Why is it when I'm Clark Kent, you try to treat a nigga like a bitch?
Okay, so, wow. So that was deep. What's going on, caller? Who we got on the phone?
Hey, this so self-made Spud. I'm tapping in with y'all and shit.
What's up with Spud? Self-made out here, my G.
What's up with you? What's up with you?
What's up,
I see the topic is saying how do men express themselves when they hurt by their other, or by their spouse or whatever. I just, me on the younger side, a lot of us, we express ours through music, like songs and stuff like that. we'll let the music play. The music could be telling our mode and everything. Like that'd be our best way to let somebody know how we feeling or something for real. Because we don't do too much talking to nobody, but like the music, it's a lot of music that got relatable things in there, and we just use the music for real.
But are you but how is that talking to your significant other, or that's just talking to whoever listening to the music?
That's like it'd be like, okay, we might have got into an argument, right? And you know how they do shit. They might turn on the song playing Keisha Cole and all that. And you know what she's talking about. I'm saying, like, she ain't talking to me, but she's saying something because she turned on it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Totally get it.
Yeah.
Cause music set the mood sometimes, and a motherfucker let you know sometimes how they feel about a music they choose to DJ in your presence at particular moments. But I think as an older person, I respect you so much, Spud, and I want to, like, as you finding the words in a song, always try to find the words outside the music, because a motherfucker not gonna give you the validity of your shit always through your art form, because they gonna say you being lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for real, if you can find the words in the rhyme, you can just let that shit flow like you in the booth without worried about a cadence or nothing. You just be like, you know what? I'm in my zone, and you just got me here. You just turn the switch, and I'm gonna let people know that this is how we do it. Cause you're right, like a lot of music do. Like, you hear some of best Mary J. Blige songs ever. She was going through some shit, nigga. Every time she got a blockbuster, nigga, it was pain in her life. So some of the best things that ever been exposed to us is through pain, from significant other shit. But we still at home. We got to find the words outside of the booth.
When the music cut off.
Right. We got to still be able, when it's just you and them in the bedroom and no nothing, and it's a quiet moment and it's a Sunday morning. Kids sleep, doing their thing, everything had nothing going on, and y'all had uncomfortableness.
Right.
And trying to find the words in a calm time and a calm moment, when things might not necessarily be all irate and emotional, and come back like OD said, if you take that time and put yourself in that a further away spot to separate yourself, to give you some space to reflect, but don't not acknowledge what made you send you to reflection mode. Because some niggas go to reflection mode and never express that shit ever.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta let that shit out, because it ain't doing you no good if you don't let another month. Because that was my biggest thing, was like, I had to learn my voice when people kept telling me, well, I didn't know. I got so tired of a motherfucker telling me they didn't know. They was stepping on my motherfucking toes, and they was squeezing my balls, and they was getting in my goddamn way, or they was doing something negative and not using that as an excuse when they didn't know. It's like, well, motherfucker, I'm gonna say something.
See, and going back to that, that's how a woman, when they hear something that's outside of what they ain't trying to hear, and they step in your lane, you know what I mean? And now it's an argument going on, like because you tried to express yourself, it starts an argument because she ain't listening to your true feelings.
Because she heard a statement because sometimes and I know me, and I've done the same thing, where we can hear certain things or statements and it can instantly send us on 12. Like both me and you been victims by the same person on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like hit you with a dart that sting, or you just subconsciously just go down a wormhole that you never planned on, because it's a dart stuck you a little deeper than you planned on. A subject was like that.
We got you, but I say that to say this: when they get in our lane like that, it's like they stepping on their own titties, because you know what I mean, like because they be in our lane, like we trying to, you know what I'm saying, and it's vice versa, because we step on our own up sometimes.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Is that why men kill women so much? Because of they.
It's kind of hard to speak for murderous ass whole ass niggas.
In their feelings. So
but really, that's a good question.
Yeah. Like express their feelings, and is that why you think that a lot of men kill their spouses? Because it's a phenomenal amount.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all I was at.
Yeah, it's not unable to communicate.
Yeah, not being able to really, because and look, even we was just talking and each one of us was giving our perspective. All of our perspectives, even Spud's, was still to withdraw.
Yep.
No, not one of us said, I just tell her.
No, it is. I feel like Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. like if I was to tell you my raw, uncut, like I would tell my friends, a bitch would be like, "You hate women." I had a motherfucker tell me back in the day, like, "You a nigga scorn," because I refused to move a certain type of way when we was interacting with each other. Because you know what I mean, I had set up straight limits to how I would interact emotionally with the opposite sex because I didn't want to play with nobody, and I refused to let them motherfucker play with me. So I set up boundaries from day one. You know what I'm saying? So when we got to be close, they would get complaining like, "Why are you still so distant? Why are you still trying to?" I say, "Because this is my safe spot." Because once I start interacting with trying to express myself and all that, I gotta care about your feelings. You gotta care about my. I don't want a relationship. That's what my thing. I just tell everybody I don't want a relationship. Because once we say we're in a relationship, I gotta care about your feelings. I can't express myself the way I feel. I like it when we friends, so we can just say what the fuck we feel, and then if we hurt each other's feelings, we don't talk for a while. And if we don't never talk again, it's okay too. But at the end of the day, we friends and we give each other the opportunity to express ourselves freely. But when you get in a relationship, they say that you my best friend and you this and you that, but that shit, that's got an asterisk like a motherfucker next to it. Because if you start trying to talk to her like she your nigga, you got a bad situation brewing. You know what I mean? Because they can't accept, because like we can sit there and politic about our expression of our feelings all day. But as soon as we interact feminine energy into it, we gotta be like, let's think about how we're gonna say this, because we're not trying to offend the women. We're not trying to run women off. We're not trying to feel like we bash you or nothing like that. But if we being unapologetically men, like this is supposed to be a show about, we supposed to just like, you know what? Fuck they feelings like, wait, we talking about us and trying to figure out how what we can be better with not holding on to this shit to do like Hodge say and blow a bitch head off or choke a motherfucker up or get it escalated to those levels that we can avoid if we were better communicators. You know what I'm saying? If we were
listeners.
Yes, and learn how to be more in tune with ourselves. We can put so much energy into doing all these other things to attain money, to attain power, to attain respect. But how can we do to attain that same type of respect from our significant other emotionally? Like, I'm willing to listen to you, but when I speak, I want to be heard. So if you have a woman that wants to overtalk you, who don't, when you start complaining, she always want to start trying to counter inject your everything you say, where you never feel like you ever get your point all the way across. I learned a long time ago, I just shut the fuck up. I'm gonna let you have the form. If you don't respect what I'm saying, if I'm talking and every time I talk, you're gonna try to overtalk me. You don't give a fuck about what I'm talking, so I have nothing to say to you. So when I'm sitting there quiet, just looking at you goofy, you like, what? Like, what? You don't give a fuck about what I gotta say, because every time I open my mouth, you got something to fucking say. If you want to hear what I gotta say, you gotta learn how to shut the fuck up.
Don't say that word.
Yes, I can, because in those moments, like you say, when you hurt, I need to be able to be allowed to say that shit. Because a woman, when she hurt, she feels she has to be able to let that shit go. And as men, we feel a certain type of way, but being able to tell our woman, like, look, you gotta be able to shut the fuck up sometimes, and not in a mean and nasty way.
I don't think there is no way you could say shut the fuck up. Me or nice.
No, it's just what it is. It's like damn, like if you want me to talk, if you want me to talk, don't keep talking.
Right.
Because I'm learning to shut the fuck up. When my wife starts speaking, I shut the fuck up. I used to interject and have something to say, and now I'm like, no, I'm gonna let her go. And when she's done, I'll sit back and for a second, then I kind of speak. And if she has something she wants to say later, then I will go back and forth. But I try to make it so we have an open arena. Because it's like an arena, niggas be damn near fighting. You know what I mean? It's like the ring, nigga. Like you putting your emotions out here. Like, I'm willing to stand up for this shit. Because as a man, we gotta be able to stand on something. We gotta be able to stand on protecting our emotions too. even from the most motherfucking closest things to us. That's what we allow the closest thing to us to step all over our emotions sometimes. And women do the same shit. Like, I mean, we all do that when we care about a motherfucker. Like, no one's immune to not doing it. But we just got to know how to interact with each other a little safer and better for each other.
So let me ask us this. Do you think partially the way that they are is because the way that we have been groomed to be when it comes to our emotions? So it's almost like, do we expect them to automatically know that we're hurting? And because they're not acknowledging it, we're thinking that they neglecting to acknowledge it. So we withdrawing at the same time. And then we're lashing out, you feel me, like at a odd moment, and she like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Right. So is it kind of like we're expecting them to acknowledge something that they may not see?
Or we expect them to be magicians. Like at the end of the day, we got to be real with ourselves. Like I went back to saying, like that's what got me so frustrated with people being able to say they didn't know. Because if you sit back and you don't never express yourself, your significant other always has that opportunity to say, well, I ain't know. What if a motherfucker weaponized, I don't know? Ignorance is bliss in some situations. A motherfucker play dumb and keep fucking over you. You know what I mean? And you be like, hold on, like I ain't gonna keep letting you play dumb, motherfucker. I'm gonna sit here and say something because this you not knowing shit. I'm not believing. Show that I can't let you use that escape, that little out. And I'm gonna start trying to find the words to talk about an uncomfortable situation when things ain't necessarily all bad. Like I do Sunday morning shit. Like I brought that as an example, but that's something I've been known to be sitting in the bed Sunday morning while I'm sleeping in and getting my whole process and getting ready for Monday and just enjoying the moment and talk about some real uncomfortable shit. And start our Sunday off fucked up, tears and crazy conversations and shit. Because I'll be like, well, sometimes some conversations I refuse to just let die. Because I feel like certain conversations can turn to cancer in relationships. If you try to ignore them and try to act like these subjects ain't important, because a woman will have something that's really important to her and she might not talk about it, but that'll be the reason she cheated on you. That'll be the reason she'll do something that she know that totally fucking piss you off or fucking off some money, doing some other shit. She'll do some totally other shit because she feels unheard or unfelt. Niggas will kind of do the same thing. We'll start reaching out to odd motherfuckers and doing something to get certain types of attention when we feel unheard. But we seem to do so much better when we just feel heard from the people who care about us. And like you said, we be better listeners and better communicators. We can go so much further as men and women. Because it's not this ain't a show to try to put men up and beat women down. Or I don't think Women Wins is about picking women up and putting niggas down. It's about being honest about where we are at, where we at as I don't consider the women that was on this panel as lower level women. I don't consider us as lower level men. So we talking to a certain level of men. Like you ain't at this certain type of level. We understand and we hope that we can try to start picking each other up to get to certain type of levels where we all understand a certain type of normal when it comes to loving and interacting with one another. And we kind of set boundaries and rules and just play by the game. If you a player, play. If you a lover, love. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to teeter the fence because you know you a player, but you know love get the girl, so you're gonna play fake, be a lover, but you know you playing in the best of your heart. So you ain't communicate. So now she's vulnerable and you're not. So everybody got to be on the same playing field with this whole thing when it comes to dealing with the emotions.
Come on with your question, woman.
Yeah.
Well, do men feel weak in front of their girl if they cry? Do y'all think that the woman think y'all weak if y'all like cry in front of your woman?
Depends on the situation.
Yeah. So you can't damn help it. You feel me?
Certain situations because pain is man.
Man,
like, because I remember like I could cry off at the thought of some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the real idea be like, if you really care about something, you think about losing. Like when I used to think about losing my mama before she died, that shit used to break me down. When I used to think about certain things, losing certain things that really truly meant something, whether I showed it all the attention it needed or deserved or not, but what it felt to me. You know what I mean? That shit hit differently, and it made me think about it. I would cry just thinking about, like, sometimes I might cry just thinking about my mom to this day. Like, we could have a conversation, and I could be driving, and a song would come on, like, what you used to tear me up, Aaron Hall, I Miss You. Nigga, I be driving down the street, that motherfucker come on, I'm driving, and tears just running down my face.
I'm talking to you, baby.
I ain't ugly crying or nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I got tears running down my motherfucking face when I'm driving. You know what I mean? I've learned how to loosen that up, because I know a lot of niggas who feel like that, who feel like that when they show emotions, that makes them less than a man, and it comes through conditioning. You know what I mean? Like, that's something we got to kind of try to break some of these stereotypes and some of these molds, because you can kill a nigga in the midst of your tears. So how does that? You know what I mean? Because a lot of niggas who do kill their old ladies and do that old bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that one white dude. A lot of it. Like that one white dude who killed his kids. The white dude who just killed the little boys.
3 of them. Ago. Yeah.
You know he did that in front of his old lady.
To hurt her.
Yeah.
He didn't try to kill her.
I'm
gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill what you, because you gonna put them kids. I gave you them kids, bitch. I gave you them kids, bitch. You wouldn't have had them kids. It wasn't for me. So now you're gonna talk about you don't want me, and you're gonna take my kids with you, and you happily ever after, bitch. I will kill you and them kids. Or how about I kill them kids and make you look crazy? But it's demented ass thought, not normalizing this shit, not justifying this shit.
Weak.
It's some weak ass shit.
Definitely
but
weak.
You see this shit happen because people don't know how to communicate their fucking feelings effectively. You know what I mean? Because it seems like, you know, if you speak on your feelings way before they get to that point, you won't have a lot of big problems.
Can I read?
Read that
y'all
question.
Want to? Can y'all read the comments?
Read that question that Alethea had.
Put up the comments. Y'all read it. Oh,
I talk too much.
Y'all read them. It's me and Mondays. Let me be quiet.
Hey, I'm not calling or commenting on this post.
Y'all look
like y'all want to open motherfucker ass tonight. What's up, young kings? What's happening?
What's up? What's up,
Alethea out here? Tell Donnie we want him on the show. Yeah, we need Donnie to come on now.
No, but we want your engagement. We want the women. Tonight is the night. You feel me? We want to hear y'all talk. Like, tell us what can make us better, you know, or tell us how do y'all feel, you know, as it relates to this topic, and you know, whatever is whatever.
All right, exactly. Any situation where you done had situations where somebody did the stuff to you, one way or the other, good or bad.
Okay, so how is it some men can express themselves accordingly when it comes to working, but when it comes to your spouse, woman, you can't communicate or lose control? Basically, because y'all start talking over us and we don't, y'all take over the conversation.
But she said lose control, like some major stuff.
Now she's talking about like say for instance, like my wife used to tell me about this, like how you can have you can be so politically correct in public with complete strangers, even when you're going through a lot of shit and just surface level, superficial interactions that you have out here day to day, right? But when you come home and you done went through all the shit you went through all day, you might be totally exhausted. You might not have nothing left in the tank. Because it take energy to put up a facade to be able to make a motherfucking painful nigga or hurt nigga look okay. So I've been putting on this facade because I've been hurting since I woke up this morning. Actually, before I went to bed. Me and my old lady wasn't right before I went to bed. So I went to bed shitty, didn't sleep good, wake up looking at this motherfucker crazy. And I gotta get up out here and go make money and deal with other motherfuckers. And I can't have that shit on my face. So I gotta take a deep breath and put on a representative clothes. And I got to go through my day doing that shit. And women can attest to this shit. They do it every day as well. But then when you come home and you ain't getting that support or that engagement that you need to help fill your tank up, you're like, I ain't got it. Like right this second, like, and you supposed to be my significant other. Like, you know, I know you ain't a man reader, but fuck, you know, I act a certain type of way every day.
It's getting hot in here, goddamn.
You know what I mean? But I need motherfuckers to be able to recognize and stuff and like being more attentive.
Is that like emotional intelligence? Like,
that's a good way of putting it. It's like being emotionally intelligent. That's a really good way of putting it on both parties. Because I mean, I think everything that we talk about can go for either sex. We're microanalyzing the men's perspective, but if we was to put this on Women's Wednesday, they could have their own spin on it and talk almost the exact same shit, but from a slightly different view. Because we see the same shit, we afflicted by the same shit, we subjected to the same shit from the opposite sex, but the way we compensate and deal with that shit and the way we manage that shit is totally different. So we had talked about how we can get into going back and forth for our significant others and never win. Because women are emotionally or adept at handling certain levels of emotions. Like a woman might have emotions from 0 to 50.
They professional talkers.
Right? They might have 0 to 50. They might have 1 through 50.
They professionals.
Right? They might have 1 through 50, but a nigga might have only like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. She got 50 different levels of emotion she's able to manage before she goes over the edge. We got 5. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got. And then when we get to about 4 weeks, and she got 30 something other ones that just looking at us. So we try to engage something, and she's really good at what she do, and she's really an assertive person. She'll shoot your feelings down and everything you got to say to the point where you shut the fuck up because you can't even compete because you and your feelings, and she over talking you, and now you feel like you ain't heard, so you go back to your cave.
Professional talkers, right? I'm trying to tell you,
right? So that because
but sometimes we gotta blame ourselves because sometimes you know what?
A lot of times
I think sometimes we create that monster because we're not really being real with ourselves.
Somebody calling in.
Yeah, we got a caller, but y'all could keep talking, and then we'll let the caller go. One moment, caller. Did you forget? You want the caller? Okay.
Yeah, we want
the caller. What's happening?
Okay. Today. So what's going on, caller? Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Quinn?
Good evening. I have a question for the piano. I like the title. That how men express themselves after being hurt by your significant other. And what brought out significance to me in the title is why don't men express themselves before getting hurt? Because I see where y'all coming from, where the women don't let you talk, now you're aggressive, but why wait until after you hurt to just blow up? Why don't you communicate before?
Well, that's because we're not saying that do men have trouble communicating. We're saying men have trouble communicating after we're hurt, meaning after the incident happened. Yeah. So the incident is what caused, the chain reaction of the man withdrawing and not being honest about where he's at that particular moment.
Or being destructive to the relationship where he's no longer being healthy. You know what I mean? Because we all got to be healthy participants in a relationship. And sometimes when a motherfucker's hurting, it's hard for them to be healthy outside of them doing, damage control for themselves. And then if they're not allowed the opportunity to be able to be heard,
voice their opinion,
to be heard, because sometimes it ain't about somebody agreeing with you or consoling you or none of that shit. It's like, here, let me end my sentence with a period. Let just what I say just stick. Why does it gotta be something? Why does it have to be a comma? Why does it have to be something?
So is that the answer to what she's asking for? Is why do y'all wait?
No, we said it's not that.
Not wait. Like, why don't you express yourselves?
That's what we talked about. Better communication,
right? Before. Now, what he said?
I
just said better communication.
We talked about that earlier. Like, it takes better communication to try to talk about these things, but I think a lot of it comes down to like what I kind of analogy I said before, where if we got 5 levels of emotion and you got 50, you know what I'm saying? By the time we get to 8 and we say something, y'all might have been like, well, damn, nigga, that ain't nothing. Because y'all have so much variety and so adept in managing your emotions and your and because the emotional creature that you are, y'all forced to be like that. I didn't understand it until because I never was able to raise any children. So I feel less than as a man of my age in certain aspects because I never got to raise a child, even though I have a child that's an adult. I didn't meet him until I was a teenager. So watching my grandchild develop from where she was at to a handful to where she's about to be 13, and watching the woman in her develop and watching how she does certain things that I look at grown women like, bitch, you manipulating, you doing this, you doing that. And I'm like, and she does this shit naturally as a child. No one taught her to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? But she knows that Paw is efficient at making things happen. So when she needs shit to happen, guess who she called?
Mm-hmm.
Paw, I need this. Paw, I need a rag. Paw, I need this. Can you pay for my hair? Can you give me a rag? Can you do this? And so my phone don't ring now until she needs something. She don't think of me.
Do you feel a way about that?
Yes. But I understand that's similar to, like I said, I'm starting to understand women from a different perspective. They're watching this develop as from nothing to this and never being able to see this perspective until now. And it's like, wow, like that understands it, but that don't mean I got to enable that shit. You know what I mean? So I tell her about it, like, baby, like you got to call me and just check on me. So I say things to her. Like, Paw feel like you only think about me when you want something. You call me when you at the movies and need popcorn money. I don't know what movie you going to see. I didn't know you was even going over your friend's house. I didn't know nothing.
Can we get back to the question though?
I'm sorry.
No, you good, Sam. I'm just saying the question.
I mean, but he really just went back into, he had the conversation with his granddaughter after he felt the way. And that's what I'm saying. Instead of, but what I'm saying is he knew what he expected out of a relationship. Like you start something and then she's being understanding that he's always going to be there. When I call, he coming through. So it's setting her up to believe if I need anything, I'm not going to bother him until I need something. But if he set the boundary early and communicated before he got hurt by feeling that way, of saying, hey, make sure you call me too, I'll be available, check in on me, where it wasn't in a hurtful stance. That was my question. Like, something seems like it could be avoidable, in my opinion, by listening to the men on the panel, that they become explosive. So that's part two to my question of why there's no restraint when you do get upset and ready to express the hurt, why there's still no reservation of either speaking to your spouse, whether male or woman, no gender, it's just your spouse. Why would you feel as if you shouldn't have restraint at that point, or reservations for, just give your spouse grace is what I mean by speaking, so it's accepted well, so I can continue to listen to you without you hounding or speaking or yelling or cursing at me, just to keep my mind in tune to what you're saying. Because at the same time, you're still a leader. Why there's no restraint shown when you're so frustrated and built up? Level 8 is what he said.
All right. So me personally, sometimes the boundaries are set. And men do say these things to women, but it goes in one ear and out the other when you're in the midst of that conversation or that heated moment when you're trying to express yourself. You didn't say I had this conversation before, but that went in one ear. She ain't really listening to that when you're in the moment.
I talked to my grandbaby about this stuff years ago.
I got a son that do that to me.
And explain to her, like, look, Papa feels
you only call me when you want something.
When the only time I call you is when you want this or that. Like, could you just call me and just let me know? I love to talk to you. I love your energy. I love to be around you. And I don't call you asking you to always command your attention to do something for you. I just check to see how you did in school or what was going on with you today, or I was just thinking about you. And I try to lead by example, but that don't stop a motherfucker from doing what they want. It never stopped her from still going back into those same characteristics of being like, well, to the point now where she'll just say, well, can you give me a ride to get my hair done? I go to give her a ride to get her hair done, and the next thing you know, I gotta pay too. Mm-hmm. I ain't know till the day I'm dropping her off. Yeah. Like, and she got hair down to her ass, so it ain't never cheap. And I'm like, shit, like,
okay, let Pawpaw know. And I try to explain shit, but she do it so nonchalantly. I'm like, I'm just understanding this is women shit. This ain't nothing that my grandbaby, like, she ain't never been malicious. I didn't watch her grow from a seed to where she at. And she just do this shit fluently. And I be like, and I try to talk to her. I try to explain to her. I try to let her know what she's doing to me, but she's totally oblivious because some women can't see past their own personal feelings. Once their feelings are elevated, everything else is irrelevant.
Yep.
They barely hear what you say, and they hear just enough to argue with you, but not enough to fucking get the argument settled. And it's like sometimes, and I've been trying to figure out, like, because I know I try really hard not to, because I'm not a cusser out or I'm not a yeller. I try to work on my inflections, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. You know what I mean? And sometimes we make mistakes. And why is it that we always, like she said, why always we got to be thinking about we got to keep our stuff a certain type of way so we can be received. But does a woman always consider her message when she's hurt, how she's received to us? And I think that don't really happen. They just feel like they want to be able to say what they say when they feel that shit and blurt that shit out as raw, as uncut as they can. And then when we feel like we need that opportunity to speak raw and uncut,
it's a problem.
We don't have that because there's always repercussions to that. We'll be talking about that conversation for months. About a man expressing himself one time where a woman can.
David finishing, I heard him say, not to cut him off, and I understand, but what was David saying? He thought we have a conversation prior to.
Yeah, if we didn't, if the boundaries had already been set, like, you know, I'm gonna let you gonna get the floor when it's your chance to speak. I give you the floor. When it's my turn to speak, I want the floor with no interruptions because I'm not going to interrupt you. You know, when I'm expressing myself. But sometimes we get caught up in the moment to where I'm talking, you talking, nobody's hearing what nobody's got to say until shut the fuck up comes into play. And then when shut the fuck comes into play, you didn't hear nothing that I was saying except for shut the fuck up.
There's a comment on here right now from a woman. She says, men may not always think that will be hurt. I wasn't going to say that, but men may not always think they will be hurt until they are hurt. So how can they address things before they happen?
I think that's the same thing, Elite. Well,
yeah, it was.
She was saying to try to talk about it before the pain occurred. But if you've never been confronted with this situation, because like with me and
how
my
can
wife,
you do it before it happens?
At least
you just set your boundaries.
Try to have conversations before the hurt happens, before your significant other hurt you. But sometimes if you've never been in a monogamous relationship, if you've never been married before, if you've never been in a situation like you in this once in a lifetime moment with your spouse, this is one of one. So you ain't everything you ain't never done before. You know what I mean? You might express yourself 1,000 times before this, but you ain't never had nobody like this one. You got to be conscious of that. So like Olivia said, we got to try to work on making sure that we're heard and we don't just worry about expressing ourselves or making sure our message gets across to our audience. You know what I mean? Which has sensitive ears and has emotions involved in the situation as well. You know what I mean? But sometimes as men, we get surprised by the hurt. You know what I mean? We be thinking we tough and we got this shit going on and a woman to do one slick ass move and we be like, damn, I'm in my feelings. Where a nigga could have did that shit, you would have thought nothing of it. Your sister could have did that same shit, you might not have thought nothing of it. But your significant other did that shit, now you in your feelings. Now you feel a certain type of way. Now you looking at a motherfucker crazy because it's just that person. It's not necessarily the subject, it's just the emotions involved. Mm-hmm. And it's like sometimes that if you ain't never been exposed to shit, how can you know how to address it prior? Because sometimes our mates put us through shit that we ain't never experienced before. Not meaning they mean to or they being malicious or nothing, but trying to get a man and a woman who are totally different mindsets and emotionally adapted creatures to cohabitate and grow together. It's not easy. You know what I mean? So we expect work from the beginning.
What I was saying, and I get it. What I was saying, not addressing, like, I'm saying if, like y'all said, if a woman was to say anything, it stings. Like, it could be something random. It could be a trigger. So if you don't like what a person's saying, Why wait till you get hurt? Like, hey, I don't like that. You know, like you think you'll have a disagreement early on or before, prior to, you know, why not speak on it before you get to a level 8? That was my ending to that, like to a level 8. A level 8 is up to very close to a 10. So why not just have the reservation and give the spouse a little grace and say, hey, that wasn't cool. Let's take a time out and we can kind of revisit this.
Is that
You
something?
know, what I'm saying as far as leadership and from the male, because we do look for our males to be leaders. Sometimes we do overstep as women. I was just saying, like, to be a leader, you got to know when to battle and when not to battle and how to battle. So sometimes it shouldn't be with words. Like sometimes you can stop, go back, and then revisit. So that's why I was asking, just have a little bit more reservation versus just waiting until you get hurt by something that you already know that you've been through. So that was my question.
Yes, great question.
Great
So
question.
is. Thank you.
But y'all have a good night.
You
You
too.
too.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Appreciate it for sure.
You're welcome.
Because
All right. So hold on. We got like 10 minutes left. Not even 10 minutes. We got like 5 minutes. So
Well,
I want you to go ahead and ask that question.
I got a question for the ladies. Before we get off of here.
We're gonna come back to this topic though, because this is a real good one, and
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
finish
we
elaborating
can
on
come
this.
back to this for sure because it's a lot.
you know, it would be nice to see Women's Wednesday talk about a
We are.
certain
We're gonna
subject
piggyback. We're
that
gonna
we can
piggyback off
piggyback
of
and
it.
we can kind of because
We'll get some
these
real-time dialogue.
These are some things that really need to be
We're gonna
discussed.
piggyback off of it.
That
For sure.
for men and women to try to really deal with uncomfortable conversations because it all boils down to communication when shit ain't comfortable.
It do.
It's easy to talk when everything good. It's easy to talk when bills is paid and everybody got everything going on. But when shit start getting uncomfortable, a motherfucker be like, "Well, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm giving him a pass. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm giving her a pass." And then you look up, and that pass it went to the point where I got a friend. He told me he resentful to his significant other. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit,
That's
you might
deep.
like that fuck with me because he's the ultimate provider. And he created this monster like we had talked about. You know what I mean? He always been Superman. He did everything he could to be that person to provide and do all that stuff. And now he's the provider and the significant other who had children who were younger has put all their energy into their children and totally neglect the man who makes everything for her and her children possible.
Yeah.
Well, she ain't helping him with the business. She ain't helping him with the motherfucking loving. She ain't nurturing. She ain't doing nothing because she expected because he came in the door doing a certain thing from day one and then, you know, didn't realize it because that's who he was trying to be his best. And he didn't realize that was going to get him to a point of a lifetime of servitude. Where he's serving the kids, he's serving the motherfucking the woman, he's serving the dogs because they got dogs and shit now. He's serving all this shit. He got a business. He doing all this shit, but he ain't got a single motherfucker who really care about him to give him emotional support, to give him some sort of break from his day to day. And they just sit back and expect him to just be Superman. And I read the comment up there. It says, also don't start things you can't finish. If you present yourself as always being able to do or make things happen, how can you feel a way when now that it's expected? It's like, because at the end of the day, we human. If you think a motherfucker gonna be the same way 365 days of the goddamn year, you fucking retarded. Everybody needs some time off to be fucking human. Everybody ain't at work every goddamn day. I'm allowed to fucking be like, okay, today is my kryptonite day. Today is a day I ain't got it. I'm Superman and kryptonite is wrapped around my waist and I ain't got it. I'm just a regular motherfucker. And you over this motherfucker drowning, bitch, you better grab a life preserver or grab a stick or find another motherfucker because I ain't him today. But when we ain't that, they look at us like we different because you said you was this from the beginning. Well, bitch, you ain't the same person 365 days a year because when your period
Good night, Chris, man.
You get
shout out to Chris, man. Thank you.
You get every reason on the reason why if you got things going on with you physically or your shit ain't together, I'm supposed to be able to, all right, you got to pass. Your insides is turning inside out and you bleeding like a motherfucker and shit is crazy and I know nothing about this shit. I can't act like I know anything about it, but you get a a pass or whatever the fuck going on. If you ain't productive, if you ain't doing shit, it's all good. But when does a man we don't get a monthly pass. To give us a few days where we allowed to be fucking human.
We're gonna come back to this.
Y'all most definitely get a day, every day pass and every week pass. But anyway, I want to ask, this is a question one of the ladies said. That's why we're gonna revisit it. One of the ladies said that a few people, we took a little thing, but they said, why do men want women a certain size and a shape, but they got big bellies? They want a woman to have nice teeth or whatever, but the grills need work and some don't brush.
That's not for this topic, though.
Right. No. This is their free fall question that they always ask.
So I'm gonna let y'all touch this before I touch on this, because I'm gonna.
You go ahead.
That's a loaded question for sure. But go ahead.
It's definitely loaded. Y'all got on niggas grills and shit. Talk about they don't brush them teethuses. Wait a minute. Rewind that whole question back and say it again. Cause shit.
This is what I promise you. This is what somebody asked me.
Damn.
Okay. Why do men want a woman a certain size and a shape, but the men got big bellies and they want a woman to have nice teeth or whatever, but they got messed up grills that need work, and some don't brush?
So it sounds like that women, whoever said that, is actually coming at us, and we not going.
She's asking a question. She want to get y'all opinion, not saying y'all do it.
No,
she wants to get y'all opinion. Why do y'all think that men want women a certain shape, but they be out of shape?
Because,
and then why they grills could be messed up, but they want the woman teeth not to be like that. Basically, is what she's saying.
Well, if they grill fucked up, first off, that's on them. And they need to go to the dentist. They probably don't got no health plan to get them teeth taken care of. As far as the woman, us wanting a woman who got a nice body, you know what I mean? Who don't want that? You know what I mean? Who don't want a person with a nice figure, a nice shape? Yeah. Who don't want a woman with pretty teeth, a perfect smile? Who doesn't want that? We all want that.
If you're attracted to women, and if you're attracted to men, you want a man that. But I was thinking about.
But if we got a gut, that's called a get money gut.
But you know what? Nowadays, nowadays, your preference may not be my preference.
That part.
That's just because I like that. I can't assume that you like that. Mm-hmm. You might want. I mean, nowadays. It's not same sex liking the same sex, so I'm just supposed to assume you gonna like what I like.
I think some of it got to do with us being honest with ourselves about what we truly attracted to and what we fucking date. I think a lot of motherfuckers date shit that they ain't attracted to in the hope that they could think they could fill in the blanks or do some shit to a motherfucker to get them motherfuckers up to speed. Because Wednesdays had me thinking about, I was listening to some of the shit that was going on. And I was thinking, like, hearing them talking about the men they was exposed to. And I was thinking to myself, like, that's a certain segment of men, right? Like, you can break women down into categories. You can break men down into categories. They were talking about a certain segment of men, which happened to not be the segment of men on this panel.
Right.
But a lot of men,
but that be said, because at the end of the day, the Bible say what, 90% of motherfuckers gonna be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So we got to figure if 90% of women are fucked up and 90% of men are fucked up, that's a lot, nigga. 9 out of 10 motherfuckers ain't about shit. If that's what the books say, that we don't necessarily go back and forth about who wrote it and all the other shit. And I don't want to go into that whole thing because I'm not a Bible thumper at all. But I believe in a lot of truth and bullshit that's out there. And if you look around, most people be on some bullshit, and that's why we having these conversations to talk to the people who ain't on it, to try to talk to the people who are on the fence, to try to get them to not be on that bullshit, because we was all on some bullshit at one point for our lives. We was all at points for our lives where we normalized or just justified the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where we at now, trying to be like, all right, let's talk about the bullshit. Let's call this shit out. Let's kind of do it. But at the same time, like if you dating a motherfucker who you ain't attracted to, and then you mad later on because this motherfucker ain't got like, because if you making motherfucking $40,000 a year and you date a motherfucker who's selling drugs, who barely making it, and then you get mad at this nigga who, because he didn't even graduate good from school. If he did, whatever, but he ain't the most educated, know how to make it in this white man society. He might know how to make it in these streets, but he not white man equipped. He don't know how to get out here and deal with stocks and bonds and 401ks and working credit and doing this other shit that's out here to make a comfortable relationship for two individuals. But he know how to make it happen in these streets. But she making 40,000. She going with she got people at her job who going on vacations regularly, and now she looking at her drug dealer nigga like he less than because he can't keep up with these other people. Well, what did Kelly Price say when she made that song? You should have told me I wasn't small enough. You shouldn't have told me I wasn't this. Well, bitch, you should have told me that because I was from the streets that you was gonna always treat a nigga less than until I came over to your corporate America world. Because I've been doing this shit and I was able to maintain myself to get good enough to get to the pussy. But then when you realize that I got some chinks in my armor, then all of a sudden you want to try to treat a motherfucker crazy. Like, it is men. We could be tough upper level niggas and we mess with a hood rat bitch who ain't got shit. And we got shit. And then we wonder why this bitch drain our pockets.
But it's men that got messed up teeth and be messed up, breath stinking and stuff like that is what she's saying, that be wanting a woman still that look like Holly Berry.
But a woman to go to the
store. But like he said, he interested, like men are interested in looks. They don't matter what they teeth look like or belly.
I ain't gonna say that.
That's what he said.
Hey, but that ain't the overall for everybody. Like Mike said, everybody ain't attracted to the same shit. Like some people like a belly, some people like stretch marks, some people like a motherfucker who got a little meat on their potatoes.
Some people like big girls because they know they can cook.
But for that man, they got them messed up teeth. It was a woman that
love that motherfucker.
You feel me?
Because this nigga might have real live money. Because I had a friend, this nigga, I used to look at this nigga grill like, God damn, nigga. And I didn't think he brushed his teeth ever. You know what I mean? Just being a real nigga. You being around some niggas like, damn, nigga, your teeth look crazy as hell. But guess what? When you got a certain level of money and you got a certain level of things going on for your woman willing to overlook shit, your teeth can be all fucked up. But if you jump out that Maybach, you jump out that Tesla truck
with that fat ass belly,
with that big ass belly, and you talk about taking her out on night and talking her out on nice dates, because all it takes for some women is, we was talking about that date shit. I go take her to the nicest restaurants. I go take her to the nicest places. I listen to her and take her to the concerts and do all this shit for her. She ain't worried about my belly. She ain't worried about none of that because I give her all the other shit. Because at the end of the day, women and men, we got to be realizing that the person that we might lay up with is only going to be 80% of our dreams. It's going to be 20% of some bullshit that we got to accept for the rest of our motherfucking lives. So for me, I used to tell when I was single, when I refer to anybody who's single, if you out here, you worried about that 80%, don't worry about the 80%. That 20% is more important than anything on this planet because you saying that I'm going to accept this bullshit from you for the rest of my motherfucking life for this 20%. And some women be like, I can accept that belly while the money coming, but when I'm making more than you, when I first met you, you held me down. Now that I'm making more than you, that ain't enough. How is that fair?
What if we get a woman who got a big belly? And you know what I'm saying? Because men settle for what they settle for as well. Her breath might stink. Or them shoes might be leaning.
Or her shit might stink. Nigga, her pH might be off.
Yeah.
So y'all saying just certain women in general,
right?
If his teeth done messed up, if he jump out of Maybach,
the motherfucker ain't get 2 fucks.
Then she gonna want him.
She like,
with the big
that
belly.
nigga sexy as hell.
All women don't think like that.
No, but I'm saying like
vehicle, right?
No, because some women say he got benefits. He got a Maybach. He got this. So I can go ahead and get this nigga motherfucking appointment. I can set his appointments up. He'll go. If I convince this nigga that this ain't good for you, like, baby, I love you, and I got a dentist, and he can work on this. And do you ever think about doing something? He be like, nah, I ain't never thought about that shit. Fuck my teeth. Well, baby, he says, I love you. I want you to try to do this because oral health is really
I can change you.
Health. You know, because mental health, oral health, physical health, all health is important. So if a woman really care about you and you got that role,
she gonna talk to you when they go getting that shit.
Because that's how women get caught in them trick bags. They feel like, I can't change you. I know his teeth raggedy, but he got that bread. He can pay for shit. He just don't think about that shit. So
think about Cardi B. When Cardi B first got on the little stuff, she had that tooth that was missing, right? And she went and got that motherfucker fixed.
She ain't had no tooth missing.
Well, it wasn't missing. It was it?
It was crooked.
Yeah, but motherfucker still was like
Don't talk about Cardi.
They still was on it. They still was on it even with that tooth looking like that.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody likes somebing. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me?
But it's all
but everybody ain't gotta like everybody.
That's Krishan. You gotta
Krishan, my bad. Well, see, they was still on her too with that tooth. That tooth.
But I don't think women that has things or that got stuff going on would care about a man with the teeth jumping out the car with a big belly, teeth messed up, just because he jumped out of the Maybach. I think that wouldn't matter. That's just my opinion.
It matters, and listen, it doesn't matter to you because you're not materialistic.
Because you're responding for all of the women now.
I'm saying the women that I know.
You're a small percentage. You're a small percentage of people who are not materialistic because you had your own bag before you got with OD. You was doing your own thing, but it was yours. Because some motherfuckers ain't even seen a satchel, let alone a bag. You know what I mean? So don't ever minimize what you was doing by yourself. It's hard. But the reality of it is, it's hard for any single motherfucker to acquire anything without some help. And we ain't come from families that had that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, we were niggas or we were people who came from little, and we escalated ourselves from where we were born from. We tried to change our class, which America really don't like. But as far as us, we try to do that. But then when you interacting with the regular people, if you trying to up your class, like me and my wife had a conversation the other day. Like, how can you date a motherfucker if you're trying to better yourself and you're working on yourself? How can you interact with a person who's not doing the same thing? If you're trying to be the best version of yourself and you meet somebody who's interesting, who checks off these boxes, dick good, whatever, as a woman, and then you want to accept all this bullshit because of these boxes that's checked, when you know that at the end of the day, this is not husband material.
This not wifey material.
This ain't wifey material. You know this shit, but she check off a lot of boxes, and you end up settling. You might need 80, but you settle for 70.
She look bad to the motherfucker. You go over there and her house dirty because she ain't got clothes folded up over here.
Nigga, she throw clothes away and buy new shit. Nigga, I met motherfuckers like that who would just be like, fuck it.
All right, so look, man, it's been a great Men's Monday. I ain't gonna hold you. This is a fascinating topic, and we're gonna continue this topic probably tomorrow with the women. And they probably gonna Wednesday, and they probably gonna give us their point of view from the woman's side, and we look forward to hearing that. It's been a great show, man. We'd like y'all to like, share, subscribe. I love the comments in the section. A lot of y'all got me weak. I'm looking at comments. I'm weak over here. I'm laughing with y'all. Change the subject. I'm fucking tired of the Bengals right now. Man, you motherfuckers.
Hey, we need to protest them, boy. You hear me?
That damn McPherson missing field goals.
It wasn't him, man. That was the
placeholder.
Man, them niggas go together.
You see that ball go? You see what that nigga did?
Yeah, he fumbled it.
Nigga. I'm gonna be honest. Let's be honest. Why? I thought the snapper fucked it up.
He did.
No. I didn't think the guy who grabbed it. It seemed like it was too far to his.
No, he grabbed it and he couldn't put it down.
Right, exactly. Properly. But it seemed like if it would have been more towards closer, he could have do it like this. But he had to go over here, and that's when he fumbled it. You know. But at the end of the day, it's perspective. You know what I mean? From looking at it, it was shitty. Y'all lost. We lost. I ain't a Bengals fan. Man. You know what I mean? But our record how do better than y'all. So.
I'm not going to get emotionally invested
you know what I mean?
until we win the rest of our games. Until we get to the playoffs, that's when I'm going to get invested. But as of right now, I'm not going to be emotional.
Don't be like that, man. Don't be a fair weather fan, man. We the Bulls.
I'm not a fair weather fan.
You've been the Bengals for a long time. You can't be jumping off ship because y'all can
I'm
go
not jumping off ship.
5-0 right now. Y'all can change this from 1-4 to 6-4.
Not jumping off ship.
You know what I mean? So
I'm still a Bengals fan. I still earn my stripes. I'm still with y'all.
You just don't want to be emotionally invested.
I just don't want to be emotionally invested to be let down. Like I was let down yesterday.
And on that note,
we out of here.
Everybody be safe, and until the next time.
Tune in next time, man. We'll see y'all again next Monday.
Share and all that stuff worldwide. Star qualities, day to day.
Busy
Wednesday, Busy One Radio.
Yeah.
We shout out to everybody and nothing but love and respect for everybody out there, and keep the motherfucking comments coming and share y'all perspectives. Because if you ain't courage strong enough to share your perspective, what are you doing out here? Because your perspective is all you got. How you see shit. Share it, and maybe you can change somebody's life every day just by being open to just share who you are to the world. And on that note,
we're going to get with you. Mike had to go to the bathroom with his little big ass bladder.
No, I thought she said it was over. Like, but I thought she said it was over.
The TV on, nigga. You know that shit, nigga. The TV on.
I thought she said it was over.
We heard no music.
We out of here,
TV,
man.
Nigga. We live in 3D.
Next week.
We about to get up out of here.
We day to day, baby.
See y'all next week,
live
man.
in 3D, baby. We making this shit happen, hey, from the ground.
Shout out to CC. What's happening?
Thanks, Haj. Shout out to Haj Gray. We appreciate you and love you.
I don't know if they can hear this music or not, but it's.
It don't matter. We did our part. So, you stopped drinking, so today was my day to cut off.
Men don't take the bait, tile, babel, nation scatter, gossiping and chitter chatter, backbiting, get you splattered, just another form of ratting, running tell that to the captain. We ain't talking paper, I know you pocket watching while you think I'm ballin'. I'm out here astronaut, thanking God, cause I know my calling. Push the rock like a point guard, step curve from the goal line, 3 points in this game time, yeah, I keep it on the main line.
Though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. I will fear no evil. I will fear no.
Fuck 'em, feed 'em, I don't need